Welcome then to the new 2021 Jaguar I-Pace. Let's start by reminding ourselves just how important this car is in the EV market. This is a car that's won some 73 awards in its lifetime. In 2019 it took home World Car of the Year, which is a pretty big deal. Not only did it take home that award, it also took home World Car Design of the Year because of its striking looks, and it also picked up World Green Car of the Year to make it the treble. It was a brave move by Jaguar to bring this car to market. They had to build a whole new platform from the ground up. They've created a new body that's beautifully striking to look at, and it uses premium quality materials everywhere you look. It was the first real contender to take Tesla on in the luxury electric SUV market. It's the sort of car that, even as an EV skeptic or petrol head, you kind of want to drive and potentially even want to own. It's a striking piece of automotive design. At the front we have this snubbed flat nose with this massive grille that feeds air up and over the bonnet to aid with aerodynamics. Added to that we've got these vents in the front bumper and these really nice slimline LED headlights which flow into the front bumper. It gives the front end of the car a really sporting, aggressive look. Then along the side profile we have these retractable door handles and a distinct lack of shoulder line. The doors have just got this wonderful flowing curve and it makes the side as pure as snow. The only real details are this gloss black trim on the lower part of the doors and those short stubby rear haunches, and they really give the car its identity. This particular example is fitted with the 20-inch alloy wheels, which to me are the perfect balance between Instagrammable car specs and usability. You could go down to 19s, but they might look a little bit underwheeled on this car, or if you were the kind of person that liked to really show off and go full bling, you can go as big as 22 inches. Join me at the rear of the car, we have this squared off rear end. It's complemented by this rather lovely, simplistic yet stylish roof spoiler, and then the rear valance at the bottom of the bumper. Combined, they help create a lower drag coefficient, which increases the car's range. It's really quite difficult to describe the beauty of the Jaguar I-Pace, because it's got that stubby short nose and those short rear haunches and that flat tail. It doesn't sound like the proportions would really work. But when you stand back and look at it, you realise this is a car that's a slow burner. The more time you spend staring at it, the more beauty you discover. It's a real work of art on wheels. The interior, on the other hand, well, that's a different story, because this is an instant hit. The centre console has this floating element to it, and it's covered in what feels like miles of glass for the infotainment system and your climate control settings. And you've even got a digital driver's display. You'll be glad to know that for model year 2021, Jaguar have updated the infotainment system with the latest software, their PIV Pro. It's a much faster, much smoother system to use. It makes for a much more pleasant driving experience, and it's so fast, it almost feels like it's almost always on, even when you get into the car. It's just ready and waiting for you to go. It's not just the technology in here that's impressive. The space itself feels much roomier than it should because of how far forward the front wheels sit and how far back the rear wheels are. Actually, Jaguar themselves have said that the cabin space is equal to a Porsche Cayenne, whereas the footprint is similar to their smaller SUV, the Macan. So it's actually a bit more like a TARDIS. Whilst we're talking of space, it's also probably worth now mentioning just how capable this car is as a family SUV. There's a 27-litre load space under the bonnet, which is ideal for keeping all of your charging cables. Then in the boot, there's 577 litres of luggage space, which is huge for a car of this size. That luggage space increases to 1,453 litres when you fold the seats down. Whilst we're talking in the rear seats, I thought it'd be a good idea to jump in the back here and just demonstrate how much space there is for the rear passengers. I'm 6'3", and this seat is set in my driver's position. And I've got plenty of knee room, plenty of foot space, I'm very comfortable, there's ample headroom, especially with this wonderful panoramic sunroof. The car is just so well thought out and so practical. I've got charging points, and I've even got a central armrest back here with 2 cup holders. The whole car is so well thought out and well presented, it's such a brilliant family package. But it just so happens that it's also all electric. Now many of you with that thought are probably worried about how would an electric car fit in with your lifestyle, that maybe the systems aren't quite there yet, that maybe we're not quite ready to take the full plunge into the full EV future. But that's where you'd be wrong. let me take you on a quick drive and show you just how simple it is to live with an EV as your everyday car. Whilst we're now out driving, let's talk about performance, shall we? This here is the EV400 and it's currently the only drivetrain available for your I-Pace. It uses a 90 kilowatt battery that powers 2 electric motors, one on the front axle and one on the rear, which makes it permanent 4-wheel drive. It produces just shy of 400 brake horsepower and is capable of propelling itself from 0 to 62 miles per hour in just 4.5 seconds. It is savagely quick. It has so much torque that, well, let me just show you. I'm currently doing 45 miles an hour. Let's see how quickly it gets to 60 and how far back in my seat it actually forces me. And that there is 60 miles an hour already. It is so quick. It's got so much power and it's just hilarious how quickly it can get itself off the mark. Drive it sensibly though, and don't pin your foot like that every single time you get behind the wheel, and you'll get yourself 280 miles to a charge, which, you know, is plenty for most daily commuters not to have to charge the car up every single evening when they get home. Now, I know the biggest issue for many people out there when it comes to EVs is range anxiety, but the system in the I-Pace is very, very clever and it will help kind of alleviate some of those problems and that anxiety you get not knowing how many miles you're going to get out of a tank. The system is constantly monitoring itself and updating the dash with the correct mileage. So, for example, this morning when I got in the car, I had 93 miles. Whereas now I'm looking down at the dash, and because I've been driving sensibly and it's been downhill sections like this where it charges the battery and uses the brakes to regenerate its own power, I've now got 104 miles. And because the temperature's nice and mild, it's, you know, getting the maximum use out of its batteries. It's a great system, and as I've said, it does help alleviate that anxiety you have about just how far are you going to be able to get on the charge. When it comes to charging your EV, it couldn't be simpler. I've said this in previous videos, if you have a home wall charger, just plug it in overnight. If you've got next to no battery and you plug it in, you can expect your car to be fully charged within 7 hours, which, you know, you'll be asleep. So when you wake up in the morning, it'll be fully charged and ready to go for the next day. If on the other hand, you're only using it for mild commutes, little distances to and from the office, pop into the shops and back, you won't even have to charge it every single evening. You can just put it on for a few hours every night or put it on for a big charge once a week. And when it comes to public charging points, it couldn't be simpler either. If you go and get yourself the app on your phone, Zap Maps, you'll be able to check where all the local charging points are, whether there's someone already there using them, whether you need any apps or RFID cards or memberships to be able to use them, and just how much they cost. It's a very, very simple, very, very easy user-friendly app, and it makes owning an electric vehicle far, far simpler. Alternatively, in your Jaguar I-Pace, if you just go to the navigation system, one of the first menu options at the top there is going to be pointing out where all the electric charge stations are. You simply tap that, it'll pinpoint your nearest ones, and again you can set it as a waypoint, and away you go. And we'll do that right now. Here we are then at my nearest charging point. I'm going to take the opportunity to show you just how simple it is to charge your car at a public charging station. This one here is a Genie Point, and by using the Zap Maps app, I've found out that I needed to download an app for this particular one. So I've downloaded the app, set up an account, and it took me less than 5 minutes. The next part of the process is to pop open your charge flap, pick up your charger. I'm going to be using the Rapid charger to get the absolute maximum out of it I can. Pop it in, and to turn it on, you simply activate it via the app. And it really is that simple. Now that's all set up and running, the app is telling me it's probably going to take somewhere in the region, exactly actually 25 minutes to give me a full charge, which is plenty of time for me to go about my day-to-day business and get myself some food shopping done. So on that note, I'm going to love you and leave you, and I'm going to crack on with my shopping. So I'll see you guys next time. My verdict, the Jaguar I-Pace is an extremely well-packaged, capable and stylish car. It's practical, built from high-quality materials and extremely easy to live with. It might have been one of the very first premium electric vehicle SUVs on the market, but it's still setting the benchmark for others in the segment. it's certainly still leading the pack in my opinion. And please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel to join us for more videos to come.